Goza, Dumela, Avusheni, where the sun rises. This is where the sun rises. We are the Lenyoras of the sky. My name is Tsholofelo Bhungane, aka Styles, and we're here to talk about our experience of our knowledge and the knowledge of our experience. Right now, I'm with the lovely Ukoko Busi Dlamini, the beautiful healer. You know, Ukoko no Bantwana, somebody who is not only a healer in the metaphoric sense of the word, but a healer in the direct sense of the word, digging deep into people's bloodlines, understanding their stories, and guiding them to a better life and a better, more inspiring type of journey. So I'm actually honored in this moment because now Ukoko, she's in civilian mode at this point. She's not in her superhero, attire or anything like that. We're getting to experience her directly as a human being and getting a greater understanding of ourselves, of our spirituality, and how it can be of greater assistance to us in our everyday lives.
Thokozani. Siyaphila. Very grateful to be here. Very excited to be here. It's beautiful mess. You always say beautiful healer. It's beautiful
really?
mess. You always do that. Beautiful healer is great as well. I just want to
get the brand right. We need to get the brand.
Beautiful mess, yes. But we're excited to be here. Thank you for having us. And let's talk. Let's conversate. Yeah.
It's lovely that you say us. What is the significance? Why are you saying us?
Oh man, I cannot see myself outside of the community that I am. And I always do that. Actually, it's funny that you're asking me that. Like, even when I'm speaking to people, I'll say something like, I will, and then I'll be like, I, and then I'll put a / we will. I cannot see myself outside of everybody and everything that is me. Yeah.
And how would you describe that being? Like, when you say, are you talking about your community, your family, the people who raised you,
I'm actually not sure. I'm not sure, but there's just always been, or there's always the sense of ngingabantu. Angisingumuntu phela ngingabantu. Maybe I think it's more subconscious. Maybe I have this subconscious understanding ukuthi not only do I, walk with the spirits I walk with, but I'm many. I'm one with the air that's here. I'm one with the ground that's here. Like, we're all here, so and it also it's because, like, the people that I'm with in that space, like, you're here with me, and there's just always a sense of community in some way, even if it's not humans, but the air is here, so we are here. Yeah.
Okay, that's very beautiful. And I like how it makes me think, especially as a spiritual worker, there's no end and beginning to you.
Yeah.
Because you are tapped into the infinite. So as you're talking about the we, me even asking you to pinpoint, it's like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
those are minor details.
Yeah.
It is we, it is us. And I think you were once the person who also made me feel very seen, because there was once a time where we sat together and you're like, yo, Mbanengi. And I've never ever felt alone either. I've always felt, I used to even think, no, I just have a little solo on my shoulder, gassing me up, whatever it is.
I get that,
And I think I just visualized it that way because of the cartoons, but I always knew that there are multitudes of presence that walk with me, be it the people who have raised me and the memories they've left behind, be it the memory in my genetics, So definitely it's been wonderful to even meet people like you, because it also gives us an opportunity to be seen, in the full spectrum of who we are, Gogo.
Yeah.
So
question, which shoulder did little Tsulu sit on? Just out of curiosity? Left or right?
I think you said, I think left. If I'm thinking
Left.
left,
Okay.
yes.
All right.
Yes.
Mine
yes.
sits on the right. That's why I'm asking.
Oh, okay.
My person sits on the right.
Sits on the right.
Like my
Seat on the right. Okay.
my like, hey, I envision that they sit on the. It's always here.
Do you think there's a reason behind that?
I think there is. I'm just not sure of it. And to be honest, I'm not quite interested in it. But I think there is. Yeah.
It might have to do with, the left brain and the right brain type of thing, maybe.
Could be.
Because left brain is associated with intellect, calculations, logic, masculinity.
Yeah.
And then the right brain is more intuition, emotion. You know what I'm saying? So you might find that we are more.
That's why
Yeah. And then even our hands, because now the veins, when they go downwards, they intertwine. So this left brain starts operating here. That's why we're mostly encouraged to be right-handed, because we're in a world that's encouraging us to be more logic orientated. And then the other hand, the left hand, we're in an emotionally inept world currently.
Yeah.
The left hand is what can I say? It is not prioritized, and I think that we become whole when we use both hands. But going back to what Ukoko and what I wanted to ask Ukoko.
Yes.
How would you describe your journey, or how did you come into knowing your gift?
Yeah. If I try to shorten the story or pack,
You don't have to. Go in.
make it concise so we're not here for 2 days. How did I come to know about my gift? So I came to knowing about my gift one day when I decided that I want myself. So yeah, there came a point in my life, in my late 20s, I would say. Yeah, I think it was my late 20s, where it was just, those waves that just come to you. And I just had a moment where I felt like I want myself. I don't have myself in this world. The world has me in many ways, but I don't have myself. And it started, it was translated into me. The first thing was my stopping alcohol, right? There was this one night, I remember it was actually around June, July. One night I was sitting in my apartment and I literally said, I want to be more present. I don't even know what I meant by that, but I was just like, I want to be more present. And I don't want these vices to be my companion in things. I want to be in a situation as me and to be present in a situation. So, okay, I stopped drinking and all the other stuff that I was doing alongside with the drinking, not drugs. And then what that led to then was I had more time for myself to write in the mornings, because usually what would happen, weekends, Friday nights, you're drinking, next morning you're waking up late, or you're just like feeling So when I then just decided to put aside the alcohol, I found that in the mornings now what I was doing was I was writing when I was intentionally waking up to go sit in the sun to write, and I could wake up early. And it started from like there, where I just started to write. And even in my writing, I was hearing myself more clearly. And I just wrote. I sat in the sun and wrote. Like for a long period of time, it was just me, the sun, and writing. And then alongside that, my brother was going through his own situation where he was just dreaming like crazy, right? And one thing led to another. The dreams eventually led us to going to see Ugogo that we had been connected to. And Ugogo, kwavela nje ukuthi it's just a lot of things ekhaya that we need to do. Related to abantu abadala, related to our spirituality. And over time, I'm working with Logogo. I'm working with her. And then there just came a time where angazi khona lokhu bekuvulekayo phakathi kwami, and kwafika la where it was clear that okay, there's another thing in me. There's another thing in me here. And the gogo that was guiding me at the time highlighted this, and even said to me, Uguti, when I fanele uyogida, fanele uyothwasa, fanele ugida uthwasa, and all of that. And I remember when she said that, I'm sitting in Dumbeni yakhe, and I should have been nervous at her saying that, but that was the first time in my entire life when she said to me, "Fanele ugide, fanele uthwase." That was the first time in my entire life that I felt seen, ever. I didn't even know being seen was a thing, right? Like, we didn't even know that. But it was the first time in my entire life that I felt seen. Like, it felt true, even though I don't even know what must even happen. But it, like, I don't know, my entire body just said, yes, this is it, And yeah, continued journeying with ugogo until ngifika vele la ngangena khona ephehlweni. And yeah, it's been a weird, wonderful world ever since. Yeah, if I could sum it up like that. So it came through me wanting myself. That's what I would say. It came through me wanting myself, and ngempela, myself answered me. Yeah.
Now that's a beautiful, beautiful journey. And I mean, I can definitely relate to it. The more I got connected to my own sense of spirituality, I mean, it did take umuti to make me feel that way, to make me feel like, hey, why this alcohol, every time I'm tasting it, I'm feeling sad. I'm feeling like it's draining me. You know what I mean? I'm also not even a nice person. Like, I was enjoying it a lot, I almost feel like, no, they let me play around as a child. And then when it came time to grow up, I think my body started having its genuine reaction to it. But there are healers who drink and who don't. So how do we set the difference here? You know what I mean? Like, who should, who shouldn't? And this is all opinion based. You know what I mean? Everybody actually knows their truth because they are experiencing it through their body and their journey. But then, we get reference from other people's stories. So yeah.
So I think it's like you say, you are saying why you are not. Like, you saying that you are not a nice person with alcohol, right? So I'll connect it to that. With me, I knew that I was not being fully present in situations in my life because, and I wasn't even like a heavy drink or anything like that, but I just knew Uguti, it blocks me from a more fuller presence and sense of me that I can have in a situation, right? So, I think it comes in terms of who should, who shouldn't. Look, as soon as you feel like, no, lento lena iyangphazamisa.
Okay. It's getting in my way.
Then let it go.
And that applies with everything. I like that because then that doesn't take a sort of robotic, by the book type of, it's by the experience. Like in my experience, I am losing here.
Yeah.
And I think the challenge people have is being honest with themselves about that. That part about, this thing, young coward. There's always that chat of sharp.
The stories we will come up with.
Yes, it's always a story that we come up with, that we tell ourselves. And I think that that honesty is difficult. And I say that as a vessel of honesty. I say that as somebody who, if somebody has to take me in like unfiltered, it's a lot. To some people, it's like, the medicine I needed. To some people, it's like, ipita and what I've realized is that as humans, we need that truth. We need to be honest with ourselves. We need to be honest with each other. The more you're honest with other people, right? The more you're honest with yourself, you'll be more honest with other people. But lying to other people also means you'll start lying to yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For real.
So that's the challenge.
And the thing about honesty, I think also why it's shied away from, I think we've also sort of made honesty into ebuhlungu only because we don't actually do the work of letting us, I don't know what the English word is, but masis hlambulula. I don't know what to say that in, or unraveling. When we're unraveling ourselves, sometimes we don't take the time to really unravel the honesty that we are receiving. So we receive this honesty and it's like, man, this thing hurts. And like you leave it at that. Like it hurts, I'm moving away from it. It hurts. Or it hurts, but fine, I'll just take the punches of it. But if you engage with it more and more and more and more, it can show you its more gentle side, the gentle, the more smoother surface that you can hold it from without covering up the more hard part of it as well. I think like one of the things that actually bothers me is that we are a bit reckless with the truth. Even as abantu bemimoya who are sent to, who are called to pass on messages, it's not, we are not justified ukuthi silimaze abantu just because nali iqiniso livelayo. We need to do that inner work njalo, even for whatever kind of message you receive, whatever kind of insight you receive, whatever kind of enlightenment you receive. It will never land iphelele. You need to, like, it will never, can I pick this up?
Yes.
You know, it will land like this, and you need to be the one who does this. And when you're done here, or at least if you're like in the middle of the page, then you can go pass it on to other people, or you as well can receive it in like a better way. But like we receive things like this and we're like, okay, well, this is what it is, bro, you know? Or like, oh snap, this is what it is. But like, go through the page. Like that is the experience of life we need to have. Go through the page. So honesty, yes, honesty is hard, but the issue really is that we forget that we have the space to engage. We sometimes just don't engage enough. We think that I say khulunyiwe or I say so, done. We don't counsel ourselves through the knowledge and the things that we receive, you know?
Very powerful. I think the two images that I was even getting as you were speaking, on one side, the whole take in the truth and grow with it. It reminds me of working out of gym. You know, like it's been a while. I haven't been the gym guy that I've been in my life, but I know that when you start out, it feels terrible. You know what I mean? It feels terrible. It feels like, I don't want to do this. Then the more you engage with it, you start really realizing the fruits of it. And then it gets to a point where it's empowered you. So I think that even that process of the truth can be that way. Would actually keep engaging. You'll even start being able to handle the weight of this truth. And then to a point where now it's empowered you. You're living a healthier life that's rooted in your fullest self.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah. And then another thing about an image that I got from what you said about, you know, even as we're delivering it to people, you know, give it to them in a way that they can unpack. Because as a doctor, for instance, if you were telling somebody, hey, you've got gallbladder cancer or something like that, you know, you can't say, you would say, okay, listen, your life of doing this, whatever bad habit you've done has led you to this. You know, you're dealing with a human being, so you have to deliver it to them in a way that they can still feel inspired to push forward after you've told them that, you know, you've given them the truth, but in a way that can still, you know, empower them. So thank you. I'm gonna keep those images in my mind. So ukoko no bantwana.
Yes.
That's your name on the Dlozi streets. With full respect, what is the significance of that, of a name, of receiving a name like that? What does it mean? What does it say about wena as ugogo?
I'll tell you what it became, because I received it as well, ngingakazi nami, having not embodied it, you know. So in me wanting myself, what I said in the beginning, yourself is held completely by your inner child. That's just your foundation. That is God. That is the God in you. According to me. That is the God in you. That is the person, that inner child, that is the person that your ancestors reach you through. That is the person who basically is your boss. Uguti, do this, you can do that, you can do that, you can do that, you know? So, and that's essentially what the work calls me to do, to bring people to, or help people, hold space for people to come back to that like original essence, pure essence of you. And by pure, I don't mean holier than thou, although that is a big part of it. You can be, just because you're human doesn't mean you can't be holier than thou. But I'm not even talking about like the righteousness, but like just the pure, like the you that was you before the world told you what a you should be. You know, the you that was you before you looked at the world and said, okay, this is the you that I should be. The you that received that whisper, or that was holding that agreement or that covenant with uNkulunkulu, the creator. So, and that's your inner child is the one that carries all of that. That's where it all, that it's in your inner child. So at first this name was always like, yes, I have a connection with children. I do, typical. Yes, I love, yes. But the truth of my work is that I'm never really working with I'm working with the children that are inside the adults. And that is because it is those children that are usomandla ongaphakathi kwabo. And that's the person, that is actually the spirit we are trying to free in this world. We are trying to free uNkulunkulu within us, you know. So, and then it does translate. I do work with children. I do work with pregnant women. I work with children in the spirit as well. And yeah. But it all boils down to what the spirit of a child is. And really that's, for me, that's God. That's God. I actually see God as a child. I see God as a baby. Sometimes, I mean, lots of different ways, but I also see God as this little baby that we need to cradle as well. And it comes through cradling ourselves. If we also can get to that point where we recognize the God that we are. It's a whole thing, right?
It's a conception.
Yeah.
God within a God.
Hey, it's a whole thing. It's a whole thing. But yeah, nobantwana, it encompasses all that. Ukuphila kwethu is in lo manono ongaphakathi kwethu. Yeah.
That's very beautiful. And it does still speak to, because I know when I asked you about the archetypes, by the way, the archetypes are universal ideas or images that exist within our psychology, within storytelling, within different religions, 12 disciples, 12 zodiacs, 12 deacons. So all of those, they have certain characteristics. Each archetype is a certain character. So I think what character this also speaks to a lot is two characters.
This is where you tell me what you think.
Yeah.
Okay, because I need that help, actually.
Yeah, but it's, you know what? You said something. Wait, which archetype did you say you identify with? When you tried to look at them all, what did you come to?
Man. Like, I promise you, what I said to you earlier, it's even hard for me to say definitely this one. Because literally, I'm seeing elements of myself in all of them, I mean, maybe the one that I could tell you maybe my favorite one, which was the one, Le Scorpio, the words and wisdom. Maybe I'll say that's my favorite because words is my entire world. Yeah, I would say, yeah, that one's my favorite. But as to which one do I feel I am the most, I really was seeing myself in all of them.
Okay, no, that's still a beautiful thing because I do think that that's the idea that is like what they're trying to tell us when they're telling us the story of Jesus, right?
Yeah.
So what I like about my perspective is what I found with religion is whether I believe in the religion or not, whether I'm a member of it or not, I see its value regardless. Whether it happened literally or didn't happen literally, either way, I see the vessel of light that they're trying to give to us.
Yeah.
So look at it with those eyes.
Yeah.
That whether you believe in it or not, see the golden thread. Now, the golden thread is that Jesus or Christ, our highest consciousness, right, can be broken down into 12 disciplines, you know, and then those become those different archetypes. So you see what you were talking about now, the inner child, it's the innocent. So here, one of the first ones is they call it the innocent. And then an example can be Jesus in the manger. Horus also, Simba before he went to the jungle. It's that inner child, the one that just can't wait to be king.
Yeah.
That innocent, she's a huge Lion King stan here that we're dealing with, which is still it's such a powerful story because it's still a similar story to the Jesus story.
It's very biblical, that story, Lion King.
Yeah. And it's actually the same as the Kemetic story of Kemetic Egyptian story of Horus, and Osiris is his father, and then Set is Scar. So it's a father, you know, Osiris, which is the high father. He represents the high father leadership, which is also one of the archetypes.
Yeah.
And then it's the mother, Osar or Oset. Yeah. And what happens is they give birth to the son, and then the uncle, which is Set, who represents our lower vibrational frequency, our physical side, our animalistic side, because it's always the battle. It's also a psychological story about the battle between our minds and our flesh. You know what I mean? Our lower chakra and our highest chakra.
Yeah.
So from there, Horus goes on this journey quite similar to Simba. You know, and then he's also trying to reconnect with his father. And then you saw even Mufasa was an ancestor in the clouds and everything. So Osiris also represents, they say the underworld, but that's a Western version. It's basically the god or the king, Wabapants, you know, and then he connects with them. So it's also about in the journey of kingship or growing, you must always reconnect Nabadal. That's what was happening. It's an important part of the hero's journey. So you just spoke about the innocent and then the mother as well, you know?
Yeah.
And you know, you said that it's obvious and it's cliche, and it's not as obvious as cliche anymore. You know, I think it's an old truth, you know, Mama Africa, that it exists as an idea. But they do not get to encounter Okoko Nobantwana very frequently.
I hear
you know,
this.
so it's still very important for you to express what that's about. And then so you said it's the caregiver. So the caregiver is represented as Isis, or in the zodiacs it's a Virgo. And then there is the explorer. How do you relate to the explorer?
Tell me about the explorer again.
The explorer, it's like somebody who goes on an adventure and seek and to find.
Yeah.
You know?
Tell me what was that? What was their what's their sign?
Their sign is a Sagittarius.
Oh, okay. All right. The explorer is actually hugely significant. So I have the wildest adventures, and they happen within me. I have the wildest adventures that happen within me. And that's actually part of what goes into my medicine and what I am called to do for any given person. My journey or my work as Umlapi is very much supported by the trials and errors that I've also been through. And the experiences that I've had, right? And that has caused me, in addition to just my nature, I genuinely just love exploring the inner. I love exploring why we think the way we think, why we speak the way we speak, why we behave the way we behave. And I'm always kind of exploring myself, and I'm always creating like visuals of the seasons that I'm in. And I place myself in different landscapes each time. So, and a large part of my work is in also aiding people with their transitionings. So I'm often able to see what landscape a person is in order to be able to hold space for them, or help to give guidance, or help to uplift their guidance in where they now need to start walking next, right? Because the thing is about, for me, God, the creator, life, it's an ever-moving thing, ever-moving thing. We're never, like, njengoba mina nawe silisona, ngomoya siyandiza, khona into esiyenza emoyeni endizayo, you know? And so I tap into that explorative side just through how I actually translate all of the experiences that I've been through and the experiences that another person has been through, and also through making medicine through trial and error, making medicine through pain, you know, it's like alchemy. It is alchemy, actually. So I'm very much an explorer in that sense. And even with the work that I do outside of the healing work, which is actually part of the healing work, I do brand communications. So lots of tossing around of ideas, lots of like strategy work as well. And even when I'm doing that, my clients, I look at what landscape they are trying to build, we create a story from there. Because as soon as you have a story, you can move. You can navigate, you know, and I think sometimes we're so caught up on, I need to do this, I need to do that, I need to do that. Yeah, cool. Make a story out of it. And then like place yourself as a character in the story. Okay, now look at how to move. And it also just reminds us that we are the directors of the story as well, connected to the director, right? So I'm explorative in that way. It's very cognitive, very mental, very conscious, subconscious, very inner.
Okay, I see. You're an explorer in a Scorpio type of way.
Yes.
Yeah, always dealing with the darker side, the subconscious side. Because I mean, if you're going to be delving into this, it's not going to be surface level, you know.
Yeah.
It's real in the inside, physically and spiritually or emotionally.
Yeah.
Would you say, okay, there's so many questions, but I'm going to just stick on track. There's so many questions I have. I might go back to the other one.
Sure.
What would you say is the dark side that comes with ubungoma, like the work that you've done? And maybe to say this, I'd say like, in order to educate other people, in order to maybe warn other potential gifted children, what would they have needed to know?
Yeah.
You know, there's things obviously that you need to know yourself, but what do you think would have even helped you to be more prepared for?
Yeah. Let me highlight some of the things that just come top of mind. You are just as ill as your patients as a healer.
Facts.
You are just as ill as your patients. That help that they need from you, that's the help that you also need from them. So the dark side sounds so can we call it challenging side? Or is it not the same thing?
The thing is, it's not, because also
True. Okay, you know
with the term dark, I'm even asking, what temptations of abuse of your power are you faced with? Because that's a darker side that no one just talks about it.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Okay. Going back to you are just as ill as your patient or client or person. And This is pretty deep. I'm trying to make sure that it comes out in the right way.
We need those tense moments.
Because, you know why? Because I first took it as challenge, and I think I started answering it as challenge, but there is a difference in what you're asking, because you're asking about like the more dark side. Can you be specific actually then? More
I want you to
no, because like
all of it.
It's just open now.
All of it is now coming to
yeah,
you.
no, the thing is
all of the sporos.
So do you want to ask about that? Is that what you're asking about? Like dark?
I'm leaving it open to you. You could tell me every level. Challenges, temptations.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Wars.
Yeah.
Internal war, external war.
Yeah.
Customer complaints.
Okay. All right, let's go into it. Okay, for me, one of the dark sides, okay, I'm going to go back, is the fact that every single person that I am seeing is also here to call out something that I am going through, right? And I mean, not all the time. Sometimes, yes, you've dealt with that, and that's the reason why you're actually able to hold space. But ngesinye isikhathi kufike umuntu who ngempela they have like certain types of demons that are in them, and those are actually the demons that are also in you. And now, for you to be able to even touch that client, for you to be able to even help that client, you now first have to go through that demon that's in you. Right? So there's lots of punching and like, this is this wall. There's a lot of like punching and breaking through this wall just so that I can even begin to turn around and look at you and help you. Right? So there's that element. There is also elements of you kind of like start to you inherit some of the thing. Inherit is not the word, but
they're contagious.
Not even contagious. Like, it's, if I'm going to help somebody with a dark situation that they are in, right? I'm also basically agreeing to being attacked by the entities that are attacking this person. For every person that I come forward to help or touch in any kind of way, your healing has this consequence, Yoguti. That thing that was in you, it's you know? And sometimes you really do have to pause as a healer and say, am I actually prepared to go this far for this particular person, or in this particular situation? But yeah, we're over and above everything. We're constantly dealing with the demons that will be called out within ourselves through the person that came, the demons that will also come and try to attack us and our heart's capacity because we came through to help somebody else or to guide somebody else or to help that person help themselves. And then there's also elements of, why are you doing it? Why are you helping this person? Like, yeah, okay, uthunyiwe ukuthi wenza umsebenzi and all of that, but what kind of heart are you helping someone with? Because that too can make or break your medicine, or that too can make or break whatever help or contribution you're trying to make. So I don't know, man. It's so deep. It's so wide and so deep. But I'm going to put those ones on the table for now.
Has there ever been a time where you felt like you had to turn somebody away because of that heart that they have?
I have felt that way, yes. And then I would find that it's because there's something in me there's something in me that's unresolved. every time that I have wanted or felt like, no, I can't do this. So I would always, I always check ukuthi, yes, can I work with this person? I don't believe in this whole thing yokuthi umuntu akajikiswa and all of that. You have to check ukuthi ngempela, is this somebody that you need to be in a connection with, right? Because anybody can come to you. But is this person the one that was sent to you? That discernment always needs to be made. And that's something I would tell like a baby gogo. Uguti, just because they have come to you does not mean that they have been sent to you. Even if they are coming with pain and all of that, it does not mean they've been sent to you. One must always check, Uguti, has this person been sent to me? And not only in gogohood and unkuluhood, in lifehood. People come and they need help with something, but were they actually sent to you and your nature and your medicine, right? That's just aside, okay? Every time that I found that, no, I don't think that this one is for me, right? I was always pointed back to myself by my guides that, no, it's because you don't recognize that thing about yourself yet. And this is the moment where you're going to recognize it. So I have felt that way, and it was always taking me back to myself.
So spirituality is very confrontational.
Yeah, rudely so. Spirituality is immensely confrontational because God just wants you, man. That's the thing. It's like, it's confrontational because it wants you. It can only have you. It can only work with the you that you really are, So that's why it's confrontational. Like all of I think we underestimate, we talk about it, but I think even in not talking about it, we underestimate just how many masks we are wearing. We underestimate just how many things we are performing and not actually being. And there is so much to strip. There's so much for us to strip to go back to being the naked Adam and Eve, whatever Adam and Eve is to you, but to go back to the nudity of the soul. There is so much that needs to be stripped. And at every layer, every level, every season, every chapter, God, your ancestors, spirit, the truth, your higher self will say, yeah, so those shoes that you've been wearing, yeah, those need to come off now. And you're like, no, but like the surface is hard. How am I supposed to move without these shoes? And it's like, and there's that confrontational aspect, And then you get to another point and it's like, yeah, so you took off the shoes, but now look, there's these socks that you're wearing. Take those off, It's a constant stripping of yourself. So yeah, it's very confrontational.
Stripping of yourself or stripping of your non-self?
Of your non-self. Yeah, the stripping of who you think you are.
So, going back, who did you think you were before you discovered Gogo Nobantwana?
Who is Gogo Nobantwana still? I'm still discovering also that. So I don't know who I thought I was. I don't think I thought of who I was. I knew what my roles were and what those roles entailed. I knew that I am Smangmang's daughter in Ekaya, I do this. I knew that I am this kind, I am a student here at the school and I do this for that as a student here at the school. Even in Msebenzini, I knew that, okay, I'm an employee at this company, and as an employee at this company expects me to do this as an employee of the company. Like, I was really just I was breathing the expectations that I learned from other people. Yeah, I had moments to myself here and there, but I didn't even hold those as something important to take out into the world. Instead, for me, that was like the side thing. The main thing was that, like, am I functioning in the world, and am I part of the world's functioning? So at the time, I would have probably told you the typical things like, who am I? Oh, I am a bubbly girl who whatever. I would have probably said something like that. But where I am right now, looking back, I was expectations. That's what I was. I didn't think of myself as anything more than that. Yeah.
And then when we talk from baby Boosie's perspective, right?
Oh, baby BC, that makes me smile.
Yeah. What did she expect?
Yeah.
Tough.
She expected and she wanted to be free. And that's what I realized much, much later. As late as like very recently, that it's freedom that I should be, that I've always wanted, that is my holiness, that is my purity. Purity, baby, we see. So the funny thing is that my second name is Nonkululeko. And
June 16 was yesterday, yeah.
And I've been more intentional about tapping into what that name actually means. Not even just from my own self, like just generally my life has been reminding me that ungunonkululeko, you know? And I can only be my truth is in my freedom. But my freedom needs work. I need to work for my freedom, but not in the way that the world tells me to work for my freedom. I need to work here within me for my freedom. Because really what we doing is singamula lezi bopho lezi that umhlaba has given us and that we also took on. You know, with isbopho, I want to talk about isbopho when we're talking about the dark side, right? You know, isbopho, it is often spoken, you know, ukuthi isbopho, it's when umuntu vele is intentionally like ufasa impilo yakho, ufasa nje konke kwakho, ufasa izibusiso zakho, ufasa konke okuphilisayo. But you know, izibopho, they can happen through umuntu going to actually go and get umuti and use umuti. But they also happen through the treatment and the words that we have received from other people. So even umama wakho could be umuntu obanga isibopho lakuwe because of the things that she would say to you when you were growing up. Ubabakho kungaba umuntu okufake izibopho or obange izibopho lakuwe, you know? It's so frighteningly easy how we can all bopper ourselves and how we bopper each other. And I think it's even more dangerous and even more powerful than the one that is done by umuntu ozoyo bopha ngomuti. Because leyo muti, that person does not have your consent. You know, when things do foul things over your spirit that you did not give consent to, it doesn't embed itself in you that deeply. Yinto engasuswa. You know, it's like yinsila kahle kahle isusayo. Whereas when people are doing things from their heart, or when it's like another situation where because my father or my mother constantly said this to me, or because that boyfriend constantly said this to me, and I was in this relationship by consent, and I truly, truly held this person and hold this person with reverence, leso sibopho is the one that's really going to be embedded in me. That is the one that's going to be the hardest for me to fight. That is the one that's going to impact me the most because of how the kind of space I hold for that person, as opposed to some stranger there who's doing whatever. You know? Mm-hmm. I digress, right? I just had to point that out. But I come back to say, baby Busi, I now know, expected freedom. And she was just like, what the F is this? Why ngiphila so? Eventually, I realized, she was like, why are you living like this? Like, this is how you're walking through the world, you know? Freedom.
Thank you. Very, very powerful answer. A lot of questions in my mind because of it.
Yeah.
And I could say that it speaks a very powerful comment on emotional abuse as well. Because we need to realize, I mean, even myself as a person who's gifted with the word, I do have to sometimes realize that as powerful as my words are at inspiring somebody, I must be careful to not break somebody down. You know what I mean? Because now it has that power. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Especially because, you know what? What's crazy is you also never know who holds you in regard, which is why we should just be kind to everyone, because somebody could take your word very seriously.
Exactly.
You know? And it speaks to many a conversation that we've had before. I think even just speaking to, you know, men and women trusting each other, even in intimate settings, and trusting each other, Uti, you're not going to say something that is going to, you know, disempower me. You're not going to take advantage of the position that you have in my life. You know, as umyeni wami or umfazi wami, you know, you take advantage of that intimacy and you use it to, you know, because sometimes people like to convince themselves they're not as bad because they haven't physically harmed somebody, so they hold themselves to less account.
Yeah.
But what you just said has shown the depth of how abusive even words can be.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So then that becomes, it goes beyond gender at that point. It goes beyond race. It goes beyond whatever, because we like to also shield ourselves with whatever vulnerable position we are in, you know, and say, because I'm from a vulnerable position, I'm not capable of abuse. That's not true. You know, that's not true. So we definitely, you pointed out a very important conversation with regards to that. I think also, I totally identify with everything you're saying about the child, about the spirit of the child, how important that is, how important it is to listen to that.
Yeah.
I think for most of my life, definitely required myself to listen to that aspect. And it guides you. You know, when we say follow the love vibration, it's also that, because a child loves, you know, by nature.
Yeah.
You know, babies wave. Baby doesn't even learn that you're a K word until a parent tells her.
Yeah.
You know? So it's the nature of the child to show love. And even in showing love, you end up reaching for a greater truth within yourself. I think that is part of finding your gift. As a child, what did you love to give to others, you know?
Yeah.
But you've I'm wrapped.
That's somewhere in your book, right? I think I saw it. Yes. Finding your gift.
Okay.
When I was skimming through it, I loved that, because there was a point where when we were just chatting before recording, where you were asking me, Uguti, like, how do you know if you are gifted or not? Something along those lines, right? And it's so funny because just over and above what I said to you there, I then saw, when I was skimming through the book, I was like, oh, that right there. It's in what do you love?
That's powerful.
What is your love? You know? And we make it so deep. And it is deep, granted. It is deep. But you know, like, what is your calling? Do you have a calling? You know, and it's what is the love of your life? What is the love of your soul? Your calling is there. And maybe let's not even call it a calling. What is your love? Maybe we can even replace the word calling, nobizo, to what is your love? Because even if you are somebody obizwa ngabantu abadala ukuthi usebenze phakathi kwesikolo and do something, it's going to be through something oyithandayo vele okwazi ukuyenza wena, you know? some people just have forgotten that they actually do like helping people. They've been put in situations where people have probably abused them so much, or they just perhaps don't trust their impact. But uthanda abantu, and that's why abogogo nabomkhulu bakho bakubizile, you know, or rather, not even ukuthi bakubizile, they're reminding you that that's what you came to experience in the world, and you are experiencing it through, you know, isigodlo sakho, you know. But also isigodlo, indumba, your place of working, your healing practice could be in the boardroom. It could be in writing a book. This could be someone's ndumba. And someone actually, when they open this book, they are actually coming to sit on that mat and speak to a healer, you know. It could be in the streets, the people that are sitting here in the streets who seem to be just talking about Lord knows what, but they're doing what they're doing. I really understand people that preach on the streets. I always jokingly say that, mina one day, ngizozibona ngilapha estradeni ngishumayela, but it's love is what we need, y'all. It's become such a cliche thing.
Yeah,
to say,
like you don't say it, but it's the
but
facts.
that's what it is. Like,
it is what it
love, man.
And you know what? If we feel like it's cliche, then take it upon yourself to innovate. What are the new ways to show love? Take love to another level. Maybe you're tired of the expression that you've experienced. And you want to take it from within and take it to another level. I think that's something that we're also called to do. I usually read out of the book.
Yeah.
But you have a nice reading voice.
I do.
So let's put in the hands of Ukoko. And she'll read the passage about finding your gift, which is an echo to what you just said.
Finding your gift. Your gifts can be found in your love. What gifts do you enjoy giving? Is it joy? Is it guidance? Is it your smile or your truth? If you follow the gifts that you enjoy giving to other people, you step closer to your purpose. Once you find the core force or emotion, energetic motion that puts you in alignment, you have found a shelf that can fit in any context, and you can transform the skill or talent that is fueled by your love anywhere. Your gifts can be found in your love. I love that part so much.
Thank you. Thank you so much. You read it nicely. I think it sounds better when other people read. That's how I can imagine.
Yeah.
That's what we're gonna do from now on.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Something that now that we are speaking about love, I once, I attract a lot of gokos in my life of different natures, and there's one I know who has this big fear that gokos, it's like romance is not for gokos. Is that a thing? Is that a real thing? Is that when you're gifted, sort of romance tends to evade you, or it's a bit more complicated? Does it become more complicated?
I think you're definitely far more discerning of who and who you engage with, because of all of the things that you know, and all of the things as well that you need to do, And I mean, abantu abafani, abalapha abafani. There are some people who, they do they've been called to do the spiritual work, but they expose themselves to anything. They do whatever. It's whatever, right? But if you are truly, genuinely here to heal, and you are honoring all that it entails, not only just for other people, but for yourself as well. If you are honoring the medicine that you need to be, you are going to be far more careful about the spaces and energies and things that you attach yourself to or expose yourself to. And also the medicines that are in you are going to also hold you to that. The medicines that are in you, whether it be your ancestors, whether it be a spirit that you work with, whether it be God's word that is in you, whether it be whatever kinds of medicines that are in you as a person, or sebenza ngomoya, in any kind of way, the boundaries become more they become more important to you and all that is connected to you. So some people, it's like, yeah, we are funa. I want to be with this person, but my ancestors are blocking me or whatever, all that stuff.
This topic bores you so much.
It does. No, it doesn't bore me. No. The topic in itself does not bore me. The perspectives sometimes bore me because I feel like it was always meant to be. I think not that meant to be, but I think that is actually the way to live. Where, first of all, love, there's so many different kinds of love, first of all. And I think one of the reasons as well that we think, or there is this idea that, I don't get love, it's because we place so much emphasis on that romantic love. We make it the main thing, yabo. So now it's like, so it feels like and it looks like, when you are me as a spiritual person, I am not romance, it's not happening, But like, what about all of the other sexual chemistry and all of the other romance that is happening in your life, Like when you are, there is sexual chemistry between you and your colleagues when you guys are working on things that are amazing, right? There is sexual chemistry happening right now between
it's a creative
you having this conversation. Yes. So I think it's just why it bores me is because there's just this very limited perspective on what love is, and it's put into there's this corner of the world where we put way too much weight on that one to give us the love that we want. Because even when a person is saying, I need love, half those things that you need, that romantic love, there's a companionship that you need, and you can get that from umngani. You can get that from the family that you don't want to resolve things with, from the friend that you don't want to fix things with, or the friend that you are choosing just because they are a good look for your content creation, or the colleague that you usually just think, I'm not gonna have lunch with this person to lose or whatever. Like, your companionships are in all of these different relationships, and you are putting it all on that one man or that one woman that must come into your life and sweep you off your feet. There's so many things and people that can sweep you off your feet, So I don't spiritual workers, love. So it becomes hard for me then to answer that question, because it's like, bro, there's so much love. There's love.
It's so abundant.
Yeah, it's about like when what do you understand about love?
How have you been open to receiving it?
Also, how have you been open to receiving utando? Also. So I don't subscribe to that whole thing that no, you can't, spiritual healers don't, utando becomes tricky. And I go back to that first point, you carrying medicines. So yes, you will not just expose yourself to anything, but genuinely, just in general, as abantu, we shouldn't just be like exposing ourselves to anything in any case. So you're living that reality more, I guess. But number two, do you understand all of the other romance and all of the other chemistry that the universe brings to you for you to experience love?
Okay, I needed that answer. Appreciate that answer. Especially because you broke it down very nicely. Guys, it's always about, I got to this great realization, because you see, me, I always thought that I'd be some guy who either meets the love of his life in high school or varsity, and then we push. That hasn't been my reality, but I've had many loves in my life, so they've all grown me at different levels. And I think at this stage that I'm at, through all them go, it's now realizing actually Ubuntu is real love.
Yes.
Ubuntu is like the love we're looking for, Ubuntu. And that happens in the romantic space, outside the romantic space, with the friendship space. Because in fact, the reason why we're struggling with even romance now is the lack of Ubuntu. Because now there's a certain way when you're not happy with me, when I'm not doing what you want me to do or being who you want me to be, Ubuntu is what will balance the two of us, of understanding on the other side of what is this human experiencing, what am I experiencing, how can we collaborate to meet each other's ends, you know what I mean? What is this person presently even going through before I just want something, because that's also the thing. It's capitalism, hyper individuality, Western, it's all about me. So even that love becomes important, because where am I going to receive love? Who is here that I'm going to hold hostage and say, you will love me? You know, because I'm doing this for you, you will love me. Because now it's a constant bartering, instead of holding space for each other,
Instead of just
and feeding each
love.
other in between.
Yeah. Instead of just being love, like, just be love. Like, not in love, not with love, not something because something, like, take out the buts and the and the because, all those conjunctions, and just like, are you remembering Uguti, you are love?
I think it's tough for people because we're also in a very incentive-based kind of reality. What is it in it for me?
Yeah.
And sometimes what's in it for you is you being in it.
Yeah, like you being it. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And you see that it goes back to what I'm saying about Isbopo. Because of how we've been taught to understand things like, for example, Utando, it then becomes, when you now go to someone and say, to be love, what are you saying?
Yeah, to them we're just doing this.
Yeah, like, then it just sounds like we're being those typical kumbaya, chakra hands and all of that, But, like, that's the reality of it. And I think with love also, another thing is, something that I realized was a problem is that it's held as an emotion as opposed to being held as a principle of living. So that's why people even hold on to this idea, Yoguti, love hurts. Or, no, you can't. When you go into a relationship, use your mind more than your heart, because, no. Love is not enough. There's that whole thing as well.
Money is not enough.
Where they say love is not enough.
Nothing in itself is enough.
Nothing in itself is enough, number one. Number two, nothing that has not been wholesomely engaged with Vele will be enough, right? But yeah, when people say things like love is not enough, and I'm like, it just, for me, it just makes me feel like, most of the times it feels like people alluded or connected to being an emotion only. Like, it's not enough, ukuthi ngiyakuthanda. I also need this, that. But the thing is, all of those, that, those are the principles of the love.
Okay. I'm hearing you.
Yeah, so love also needs to be freed from just being an emotion to actually being to being held as and applied as a principle, yokphila. Like, for anything to happen, there has to be love. For something to exist, there has to be love. There has to be, like, even umuntu oyenza into embi, they have to do it from a place of love. That's the twisted thing, There has to be that passion that's happening, So that's the very principle of things. Like, the creator
Love
created, like, the creator created ngotando. There had to be love there. So
okay.
Yeah,
no, I think I'm connecting what you said with the devil doesn't create, the devil only corrupts. So yeah, I'm seeing actually everything that's been created was created from love. Yes, other people corrupted it in between.
Yes.
And turned it into a for-profit type of thing. Whatever it is, whether we can talk about music, poetry, other human beings, but then somebody corrupted it. But it in itself, like whatever the opposite of love is, it can't create, it can only corrupt. It
Corrupt
can
what
only
love has already
erode.
created.
Exactly.
Oh my God.
Thokoza, Gogo. Now, another thing I wanted to ask, and maybe Mina, I don't know, maybe Ngaropa by asking this. So how now do you tell, as a healer, how do you tell if you love someone or if they are meant to be healed by you? Because a lot of the times, the element you're using to heal somebody is from that love place. And then it can happen that, you can get lost in the sauce.
Yeah.
So how do you
How do I know?
suss out who are actually here?
This is one of those things where it's like, sometimes you just know what is and what isn't. Sometimes you just know. So first of all, with my community, I truly, truly, genuinely I fall in love with everyone. I'm in love with you even. I just fall in love. I really, really love my community, and that will always be there. That will always be there. So I guess for me personally, this one I'm going to make about me personally. For me personally, it will always just be a case of how does the journey now unfold between the two of us? Like, it's really just about seeing what direction does it take us through. Am I really being taken through a direction you would see, nah, I'm here to support you in living your life with another person elsewhere? Or, nah, but it looks, or am I seeing that this road is actually causing you to stay or to be here and to stick with me and for me to stick with you? Like, I just, and that's why I say you'll just know. Be present for the moment and you'll just know, Uguti, yeah, no, me and you could do something. Nah. I love you, but no, this is not going further. Angazi mina, I just let the road show me. Mm-hmm. I just connect to what needs to be done. And I let the road show me, okay, mina naye sihamba kanjani kule ndlela le.
Just be present with where the journey is taking you.
Yeah.
At all points.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I think for me it's easier. It's become easier because I've gone through a lot of heart healing. I've done a lot of heart healing and I'm very, very comfortable with just loving people, whether or not it turns into whatever. I'm very comfortable with admitting that, I'm in love with you. And that doesn't mean that has to be something else. Mm-hmm. Whether in a romantic sense or not romantic sense, my story is that I love you. I'm here to love you very already. You're here so that we're here to make love. Right? And then we'll see what that actually looks like. Maybe you're going to be a friend of mine. Maybe you're going to be actually a business partner. Maybe you're just going to be somebody who comes to our Ndumba for guidance now and then, So, yeah, be present for the moment. Let the moment show you. Yeah.
Thokoza. Thank you so much, Gogo. Yeah, that's been the Lenyora of the Sky podcast. Please like and subscribe, show love, follow us on all social medias. Just search Lenyoras of the Sky. You will find us in due time. In closing, I wanted to ask, do you have any questions that you wanted to ask me? I've been putting you on the spot, quite a bit, so you definitely can pindisela me.
Yeah.
And yeah, so your questions and any closing words for the people.
Yeah. First of all, thank you. This was lovely. I don't have a closing statement. I do have a question. What is Lenyora of the Sky in you?
Okay. I'll just tell the story. First of all, I was Papa Woke, a leader of a creative community conscious art movement. It was Papa Woke because we're a family, it's a community. It's all about pushing the family narrative to the Black community because at the time we do need a greater sense of family because it starts with family, then it becomes community, then from community it becomes kingdom. But it needs to be together and united. So that's where the Papa was coming from. And I think one of my friends at the time Theo, looked at me and he said, Lenyora of the sky. So I think in a way, we're made in the image of the Most High. So in that point, he was feeling like this guy is really living by the image we are made in. So I'm going to call him Lenyora of the sky. So it's all about living by the image that we're all made in. We're all made in the image of love. All love. Love is the highest vibration.
Yeah. That's beautiful. That's beautiful. Thank you so much for this conversation, this moment, this time. We're honored. Thank you.